Okay. Mark test 1 2 1 2. Mark test 1 2 1 2. This is the Other Room podcast. We're live and direct from BKK Thailand.
Yes,
We're your
sir.
host. I'm Joel, aka Authority
My name is Anthony at Groventini on Twitter and
on
Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah, I'm Authority _Joel. I kept forgetting my my Twitter and Instagram handles. I don't know, man. I'm too old for this shit.
Apostle, we have this.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Still
Yes, sir.
Apostle. So what do we have today? What do we have? Okay. Before we start, we really have to apologize for next week audio. The audio was terrible.
Next week,
Oh, last week. Fuck it. What's wrong with me? Okay, last week. Last week audio was bad. Was
Yeah.
so bad because we were using Trick on Desert mic, and
Yeah.
again our guests, they were all talking in the room. So I tried to save. It was first. It was my initial mistake. Then I tried to save it, but I couldn't. So there's so much reverb on the video and on the audio, and so much things happen to the audio. So we just have to apologize for that. And
Yeah.
again, we have something special going on right now.
yeah,
I
that's
can
what's
see,
up.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see this. Right. There's
That's
something
what's
special
up.
going on. We're giving out this for free to all our core fans. All
Yeah.
you have to do, like our
Page.
YouTube channel, like
Yeah.
our page on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter,
Yep.
and then this will be yours. So I don't know. So
Yeah.
only to people in Thailand, right? I don't know.
Yeah. For now, just people
Okay,
in Thailand.
only
We
for
can
people in
always
Thailand,
do
yeah.
everything later.
So this is very, very,
Yeah, that's
very
what's
nice,
up.
man. And you can see, you see this. Oh man, see this boy right here. This boy, differentiate them.
Man. Yeah, before we proceed, first thing first, I want to give a shout out to my homie, my comrade, my real G, an endangered species, and an incoming podcaster on this network. That's Taram Deep. Yo,
Oh.
happy birthday to Taram
shit.
Deep, man. Yeah, his
So this is his
birthday.
birthday?
No, his birthday is coming up over the weekend. So
Oh, okay,
I'll probably not have the time to give a shout out to him. So
Shout out Taram.
happy birthday to Taram. I love you, bro, and you've always been a
Much
real
love,
one for
much
me.
love, and let's use this medium to welcome him as well. To
Yeah, that's why I
to
say
the
he's an
Other Room
incoming
family,
podcaster,
yeah.
you know?
To the Other Room family, you're welcome,
Yeah.
bro. You're welcome. There's gonna be a segment special for Taram
And Junior,
and
yeah.
Junior, yeah. So we're working on that, and our website will be coming up this month, like fully functioning this month. I can promise you guys that. And again, what else we have? Who we want to give a shout out to? Yo, let me shout out to my main T, Omotayo Caleb. My dude
Yeah,
has
yeah,
been
yeah.
all over Facebook, sharing our page and showing so much
Man,
love,
it's
man.
been a
I
long
love you,
time I
love
heard
you,
from
bro.
him.
Yeah, I love you. He's been so on low key. I don't know
Yeah.
what exactly.
On the
he's
ground.
doing. So fucking low key shit. Okay, let's get started.
Oh, yeah, man. There's been a lot of stuff happening the past week. So I think let's start off like, I don't even know how we're going to start off. Maybe we'll start off on the more energetic
Mana.
manner, or we just start on the more depressing one, because I don't know. Like,
Dude, the entire most of our episode has been so depressing
okay.
because we
then.
talk so much about politics and we lose our shit. We just like we just have to lose it a little bit, man.
It's
Just
more
lose it.
about reality check, like what we're doing.
Yeah, and again, I want to tell people what we're doing right here. We're trying to bring to people attention the real core truth.
Yeah.
We are not going to sugarcoat anything.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of complaining that we talk so much about racism. That is our fucking reality. There's no way we're not going
Yeah.
to keep talking about that. And friends back home say we talk so much shit about Nigerians.
we criticize the country
There's
so
no
much.
way we're not going to do that. This is our own reality, and this we have the platform. And the only way
Yep.
we can keep this going is by telling the truth.
Yeah.
There's no way we can hide it. I cannot be facing something in Thailand or when I travel other country and I'll be like hiding, no, pretending that I'm not. Come on, man. We just have to face our truth. It's a reality. We all know. And I was thinking hold it today. I was like, maybe we're just gonna have a segment called Dear Black People.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And first of all, we're gonna focus on the Africans. There's a lot of things you cannot do abroad.
Yeah.
just because white people somehow they're honest, that doesn't mean they're racist.
Yeah.
And don't ever go home with a white girl when she's drunk. She might accuse you of rape,
Yeah.
and you get persecuted.
You might not even it might not even get that serious that you get accused of rape, but within her little circle, she might just want to justify her being a hoe to like, oh, I did it out of unconsciousness,
Yes,
and
yes.
because I know like a guy who's Nigerian, right? He had a sex with a girl here, and it was just like a one night stand thing, right? And he didn't follow up, but she expected him to follow up.
To follow up.
Like,
To keep-
okay, maybe they can see something to do with it. But he didn't follow up. So as a result of that, she went around telling her friends, like, oh, he had sex with me because I was basically unconscious and I
Oh,
couldn't make
see?
a more right decision at the moment because
At
I
the
was
moment,
drunk.
Yeah.
And I kind of understand the bigger picture of what's happening there, that this is actually her own way of trying to justify what happened because she expected something else to come
Yeah,
out
to
of
come
it.
out
And
of it,
since
yeah.
the deal didn't really push forward with it, he just felt like, okay, then maybe, maybe
Yeah.
shame him or
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah. There's a lot of things going on. And I remember there was a day a friend of mine we met, she was going to be 19. She was like in 2 days she was going to be 19.
Yeah.
And so she lived so far. She's not Thai. She's Thai, but half Thai and half
Yeah.
Dutch. So she was living. Her place was so far, and I was like, "Yo, you cannot go back home."
Yeah.
And it's quite late, and it was around. We went out. Actually, we went out. So I was like, "You cannot go back home," and it was quite late because I don't know. The place is like almost close to Pattaya, and she have to travel for 2 hours.
Damn.
3 a.m. I was like, "Yo, you can just stay at my place, and nothing's gonna happen. I have a GoPro."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
yo.
No.
And so as soon as we get into my room, I turn on the GoPro. This is my GoPro, and yo, just
Yeah.
just feel
Wide
free,
angle
just feel
lens,
free.
so
Yeah,
it
just feel
captures
free.
everything.
This is everything. I was like, yo, I just have to be on the safer side.
Yeah.
I just have to be on the safer side. So I don't know, man. Some guys they just go out, go to club, take girls back home when the girl is already drunk. I don't. How you gonna fuck a drunk girl? How do you do? How do people do that?
Yeah, right. Because then she's probably not at her best.
Exactly.
So she can't really give you her best when
It's like
you guys
fucking a
wanna
dead
have
body.
fun,
It's
yeah.
like fucking a dead body. Anyway, let's get out of this.
that's still depressing anyway. And that's something I don't really want us to get into. That's depressing.
Okay, so how do we start? Where do we start from there?
Like we take pride in the fact that we talk about things that are realities, the
yeah.
reality of things we go through or things we've lived through and we're living through. And that's why it's of utmost importance to me to talk about our home state where we come from, which is Ondo State, Nigeria.
The light shit, right? There was this protest going on.
Yeah.
Bring back our light.
Oh, is there? I don't even know about that
my
one.
God,
Yeah.
you have to be on Facebook, man. No, they created a frame like Facebook frame, like bring back our light. There has been protesting. Like I grew up in Ondo State. I grew up in the Elijah local government.
Yeah.
Since I was young till up to this time, I've never ever one time used
Or public electricity.
electricity.
Yeah, we
Never.
we basically pay for our own electricity and generate
Never.
our own electricity.
Never.
Yeah. So we don't have that privilege of knowing what it is to have public electricity
and our region is the only oil producing region in the entire
in
Ondo State.
Southwest. Yeah.
So and we'll do. I don't know, dude. I don't know where to start from. I don't know exactly.
So
what to say
so
about that.
basically, what I think the news, what has been in the news that have been really prominent recently is the case of the school fees hike in Ondo State, where the school fees, the tuition fee of Adekunle Ajasin University students have been increased from 25,000 naira to 180,000 naira.
500%.
Yeah, that's a 500% increment
Holy fuck.
in the price of the school fees. And why this is of utmost concern to me is that I have a lot of friends
Oh yeah.
who are
a lot of
studying
our
out
friends
there.
still studying.
And I know a lot of people who wants to go there to study. And the thing is, from our perspective, we might look at that as not really being a lot of money for
Yeah,
us to
compared
pay.
to what
but
we're paying here.
yeah, compared to what we
But
pay out
it's a
here,
lot of money for
compared to
the
people back home. And
it's like so much money.
and when you look at the minimum wage of Ondo State before tax is 15,000 naira. The state paying the highest minimum wage in Nigeria is Lagos State, 18,000 naira, even before tax. So
That's
now
crazy, man.
we have a situation whereby students have to pay 180,000 instead of 25,000 naira, right? So now their parents have to come up with ways to actually meet up with this 500% increment.
Increase.
And the thing is, one of this is that salaries are not being paid. So how do students actually have?
Work cannot be generated.
Yeah.
People are not even.
So people are basically unemployed, and then there have been a few changes to the new government, like the Kadi Igbeayo, which is the official ID of the state that was introduced by Governor Mimiko, was for free initially.
Okay.
Then the new government came in and he charges people 500 naira to get the card. And then for pregnant women also, there's a scheme on ground that was founded by the past government, by Mimiko. And the new government actually start to tax these pregnant women. So basically, the people of Ondo State voted for a change. That, okay, things can be better under a new government. But things have been much more disastrous now. And the worst part of this is that...
I think there is all over Nigeria in entirety.
And the thing is, when you look at our educational system, right? By all means, our educational system is actually not even good.
Terrible.
It's terrible. If you look at the curriculum itself, like...
That was like 90-23
It's
curriculum.
so outdated. It's so antiquated.
90-23.
So I don't really know. I don't think even when you want to charge people that much for tuition fee, at least it should even be worth it. But in the first place, it's not worth it because they're using the same curriculum that they're using. That it doesn't meet up with the global development in IT.
Right. I pity people who study computer science in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of them don't even know how to use Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
A graduate of computer science cannot use Microsoft Word. And that is not even like coding. That is just like simple application.
And the thing for me here is that we feel like the government of Ondo State does not really understand the plight of the people. When the governor of the state, Barrister Rotimi Akeredolu, wanted to justify the increment in the fees, here is what he said. He said the 25,000 naira that the students are paying right now cannot even buy an Italian shoe. How do you equate an educational program or the payment for an educational...
Okay, the Italian shoe for who?
He's actually making a comparison with his lifestyle and the lifestyle of the common people. That, okay, 25,000 naira cannot even buy my shoe. So why do you expect to pay that less for education? And the problem is that if the people of the state are actually financially buoyant and they have better economic life, then they will be able to meet up with that. But you're not even paying them their salaries.
Okay, let me. Do you know most of Thai University here, Federal University?
Yeah.
Right. Do you know most of the students that 25,000 is equal to 2,500 here? Do you know most of students for the whole semester?
Yeah.
They paid 800 baht.
Which is that cheap.
800 baht
Yeah.
to study for one semester. And they have only 2 semesters in a year.
Yeah.
My ex-girlfriend, she would go to school. She's wow, I spent so much money to buy textbook, book, and pay for this semester. How much? 1,500.
The struggle is real.
1,500 baht. That's so much money. Do you know how much I pay per semester as an international student? You know?
Yeah.
And that is the same thing with our federal polytechnic and federal universities. Yeah. And here, even most of the Thai programs have more. How would I say that? It's like the Thai program is more equipped more than the international program
because it's well funded by the government.
Yeah,
and the government don't see education as a revenue generating avenue or medium for yourself. But that's one of the problems with governments in Nigeria. They see education as a way to generate money. Education is not a way to generate money. It's more about providing social services for the people that actually changes the society. And one of the things here is that the governor is actually far away from the reality of the state. If he thinks that 25,000 naira is not too much for people to pay. Now, the question is, if you look at the middle level civil servants of the state, how much do they earn in the state? Recently, I was talking to a person last night who's from Lagos State. He said he knows a guy who works for social services in Lagos State. He is grade level 11. Yeah. And he earns 46,000 naira as at last year.
46,000 naira.
So now monthly. So now
4,500 or 4,600.
Yeah. So if we have to assume now that out of that 46,000 that guy is earning, let's assume he has a kid in the university. So he's probably left with maybe 20,000. Even if the school fees is 25.
Yeah.
With that 20,000, he has to rent a house. And the minimum you can rent a house in Lagos, okay, let's say in Ondo State, it's much cheaper. Let's say in Akure, it's like maybe 250,000 or 400,000 in a year.
In a year, okay.
So how can you actually pay that?
Oh, man.
How do you feed? How do you pay your bills?
Man.
So I feel like the governor and his people and his cabinet, his advisors, they are actually far from the reality of the plight of the people. And also, this is an institution that is being funded by the government, right? So why do you actually need to charge people that much for you to fund the university?
That is almost the same tuition fee with private universities.
Exactly, right? So if parents can pay 180,000
do you
for
think
their
they
kids
their kids to
be in a
federal university,
to be in a university that 1, they are exposed to cultism, 2, they are exposed to threats from lecturers, 3, that they are also exposed to labor strikes of the university lecturers.
Yeah, it's like
so why won't they just add a few more bucks and send their kids to private universities?
Yeah, go to Igbenedon
and I think it's really delusional that the governor even thinks of that. And the problem with this is that students are protesting, right?
Do you think they
are shooting at these students protesting. So you are trying to suppress the students. So now, how do you tell these same students that you are the future of tomorrow when you are suppressing their opinion and their freedom and their rights to protest?
Sometimes I feel like we don't even have a right as a Nigerian.
Yes. Being a Nigerian is a tough job on its own.
And that is why the people outside Nigeria, the government outside Nigeria and outside, like, in other words, they treat us like a shit.
They don't respect us.
At all. Yeah, because they know, like, we don't even have a value back home.
Yes.
How are we supposed to have a value outside?
Because we're not respected by our government. So that's why I feel like the governor is actually far away from reality of what's happening. For him to even compare the fees to his
with
shoe.
Italian shoes, that is so stupid.
It's really so stupid. And the thing is this. When I look at the breakdown of the fees, right? They have IT fee for like 10,000 naira and another fee for like 5,000 and an ID card for like 5,000. You know, it's just 5,000, 10,000.
ID card for 5,000 is 1,000 baht. Right? No. Or 500 baht.
Yeah.
We got ID card here first year for free.
I get my ID for free.
For free. Some unit like
so
if you lost it, you want to
why do you even need to pay
baht.
5,000 naira to print an ID when you're printing this ID in bulk?
No. Most of the ID is not even like real ID. It's like laminated
yes.
ID. This is ID. Where's my wallet? This is student ID card here. This is student ID card, right? But back home it's gonna be like paper is fucking. Come on, man.
It's really hard.
ID card.
It's really hard being a Nigerian and also being a Nigerian youth. Okay, the students decided to protest, and the governor, looking at the magnitude of the protest, decided to send policemen to go and attack the protesters, and they were shooting live bullets at students.
Straight. Come on, man. Come on.
So, which is a way of suppressing the opinion of the kids.
And then tomorrow you will need their vote.
Yes, exactly.
And you'll be out there shouting, screaming, you vote for the change.
I don't know. There's this way whereby the moment I feel like every Nigerian, right, you put a Nigerian in a place of authority,
They will
and they
abuse it.
immediately abuse it.
Abuse it straight
Like-
up. Straight like that.
Okay, let's start from the lowest of. Let's even start from the periphery, right? Okay, you make a person a boss at a job. They immediately abuse it. They immediately start to target the female staff and start to sexually harass them. You give lecturers power to teach students and mentor students. They immediately start to actually harass these students for sex and for money. You give politicians power. They immediately start to oppress the people that
people.
voted for them. And these are the same set of people that are very humble before they get in there.
vote, yeah.
So the moment they just have that power, they become a whole total being. Like they become a beast.
Hey, man.
It's just like they are so clouded by power that they can't see beyond it. And they actually don't know that power is not something that you have forever. Look at
You can
the
never have
military
it
generals and Obasanjo and everybody. Even Obasanjo who wanted a third term because he was power drunk. So he was thinking of a way to extend beyond the
tenure.
constitutionally mandated 8 years. And it's really painful for me, especially when I look at these youths that are now home as a result of this. And the thing is, the government is not even trying to find a solution to this right now. So the youths, their life is on hold, pending when a final resolution is met, which is either a reversal of the fee back to 25,000 or they come to a middle ground. And when they come to a middle ground, then they go back to school. They start to pay these fees. And when they start to pay these fees, then university lecturers come with their own that, we've not been paid salary for a couple of months.
They're going to strike.
So these kids go back home. Now, the people who were supposed to have graduated and come into the real world and
In
try to
4
impact
years,
the world,
they will be
they
there
are
for
home.
8 years.
And during the time that they are home, that's when they start to get into mundane things and they start to get into youthful exuberance vices that impacts and affects their life in a negative way. We are actually not preparing our youth to meet up with the century that we're actually in and with the development of technology around the world. Our curriculum, our youth are actually not up to date with everything that's happening.
Not even a bit.
You
know?
know, personally, I did not support Akeredolu. I supported Olushola Oke as an Ilaje man. I had to support someone that I know. They say the devil you know is better than the devil you do not know.
Yeah, so
And a lot of other people disagreed. They decided to vote for Akeredolu.
Akeredolu.
And now, here is the man that you voted for, who now just runs the whole thing. And guess what? A way for the government, since they saw that the process is starting to gain momentum, right? They decided to hire counter-protesters.
wait a minute.
Yes, that's just how fucked up Nigerian youths are. And let me just tell you the play here. Now, there are protesters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Intuitively, you look at, how do I counter this protest? In a much more senile climb, you'll think, the government will actually come out and give an official speech as to, there is a need to douse the situation. There's a need to respond to the students, then meet with parents, and then the legislature and other things, try to find a way around this. But hell no. The special advisor to the governor on student affairs, and also the Minister of Information and the Minister of the Commissioner for Education and Commissioner for Information, decided to go rent some other set of rogue student leaders. Not from Akungba, but from Ondo State University of Science and Technology, which is in Okitipupa. So now, what they are here is what they are saying. They are actually not renting students from Akungba because students from Akungba intuitively will not want to get involved because at the end of the day, you have to go back to campus to face your mates.
Yeah.
Who are going to tell you that
most
you
of them
sold
will
us
be
out.
recognized. Yeah.
Yes. So nobody wants to get involved in that. But they decide to go to another of the state-owned tertiary institution to hire leaders, student leaders. And some of these leaders are actually past students, not even present students. Now, the argument is that Ondo State University of Science and Technology fee got increased to 150.
And they are okay with it.
So it's only fair to also increase Akungba's.
Why can't they just fucking protest and...
I think they already did theirs or whatever. There was no solution to theirs because if you look at it, Ondo State University of Science and Technology is fairly new.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
new.
so-
It's brand new. Yeah.
So a lot of the students who are going in there got overcharged because now there are a lot of students who wants to gain admission, and this university is fairly new. So there is basically no structure of student unionism on ground. So the government just set the prices very high. So if you can afford it, you just
You
immediately
go,
go in
yeah,
because
if you cannot,
it's very unique. Because even when I left Nigeria, it was not functional yet. So I kind of get that they had to pay, and then it's a very new university, which made them able to charge that much compared to Akungba that has existed for long, and they have a really strong alumni body. And at this stage, I expect the alumni to actually come
They
out
have to
and
come out,
denounce
yeah.
the actions of the government, that you can't increase the salary, the tuition
Actually, it's
fee.
not by 500%.
It's too much.
That is way too much.
I understand that education is expensive. To get a good education, it's expensive to get one. But even though you are charging students 180,000, you cannot get a good education from Akungba.
At all. At
Let's
all.
not deceive
At
ourselves.
all. At all.
You can't get a good education from that place. Okay, let me give a good example of my time in Osun State Polytechnic here. When I got in, then the government has, I think it was the Educational Trust Fund of the federal government had, at that point, invested millions of naira into the IT center there. So with lots of computers back there in 2007. And guess what? There were a lot of computers connected to internet. Do you know that after maybe one semester, the place got locked up?
Why?
They just locked it up. Student had no access to it. This place, after one okay, it was like 2 semesters because I used it for like 2 semesters. And then it got locked up. We never gained access to it, but we were paying 5,000 naira every semester, every
For the
term,
same place that
for
got
the
locked
same
up.
place that got locked up. Even the last time I went back there last year, it was still locked up. So it's basically non-functional, but we were paying, and the computers were just getting old there.
How do you? Man, I don't have any
And guess
explanation
what?
for this. I
And
don't
guess
even know how
what?
they
During
come
my
up with
time at Osun State Polytechnic, Iwe, the only department that had functional computers was the computer science department. Every other department had no computer. There was no interactive blackboard or anything of that sort.
Interactive.
And a friend,
You're talking about interactive blackboard. Do they even have a fucking website?
a functional website, actually. Do they even have? Okay, a friend who graduated computer science from Akungba was telling me that they are the only department that has interactive blackboard
Oh, okay.
in the whole of the school. So what happened to the other students and the need for us to integrate our people into digital world? That's why you see a lot of Nigerian youths have their mobile phone. You know what they do with it? It's just chat. Facebook,
Yeah.
Bet
Facebook.
Naija,
That's all.
go on Twitter and curse other people, then talk about BB Naija. They're
That's all.
actually not doing anything else, like maybe downloading books, reading about new things that they don't know about.
What about? Yeah.
So I understand that education costs a lot of money to get good education, but you're not even offering good education out there in Akungba,
and you're charging a lot of money.
and you're charging 500% increment, which I don't understand how we can move forward as a nation when we want to impoverish our people. And what's even the assurance that once these people graduate, that 50% of the students are going to get a job
No.
after paying that much?
What is 50%? Not even talking about 10%.
And what are the jobs out there? Okay,
Nothing.
a graduate in Nigeria get offered a job of maybe 25,000 naira.
Yeah.
Okay, for a start, maximum you get like 50,000, which is basically the same money we spend on the weekend drinking and partying,
Yeah.
even on the low key. And then how do you now save enough money to even be able to? Okay, imagine you actually went through school with a student loan. How will you be able to pay back that loan in maybe 5 years?
Are they even giving student
No,
loan?
there are no student loans, but you owe your parents basically, which is the
Yeah.
tradition. So
Yeah.
how do you find a way to repay your parents back?
That's why everybody wants their children to study politics, political science.
Yeah, because
because
it's
they're
basically
not
the fastest way to making
Yeah.
money in Nigeria. That's why people sell their conscience just to get into a place of power. Because the same people who are criticizing government now, the moment they get close to the seat of power, or they're able to get special advisor
They're going
or
to be-
senior
I'm gonna
assistant,
say the beast in them.
then
man.
you
I'm
see
gonna say
a
the beast.
totally different Nigerian. That's why when the Nigerian gets close to where there's a little bit of power, you need to get scared. Okay, over the weekend, we saw the video of the interaction between Omoyele Sowore and the Minister
And
of
the minister,
Communication.
yeah,
Okay, look at what that man is
so
saying.
arrogant, so arrogant.
How have we even come so low in a country where we have so many intelligent people that we now have people like that as Minister of Communication?
Calling a graduate like a lecturer inconsequential.
Imagine.
Can you imagine that?
And then trying to trying to demean him that if you want to become a president, you have to start as a counselor. You have to go
Counselor,
back
can you
to
imagine that?
a person
So you
who's
have to start at-
47 years old.
Yeah, I have to start from counselor at 47. By the time you get to 50, 60, so then you
Then
ministers.
by the time he's ready for presidency, he has
He's
to be
gonna
like
be
70,
72.
75. We are not running a government of gerontocracy, whereby it's a government of older people. But basically, that's what we have in Nigeria. We have a government of old people. People who are 60s, 70s.
man.
You look at David Mark, you look at Buhari, and the people surrounding them. Now we have General Jerry Husseini, an old retired general who is now trying to contest for the governor of his state at almost 70 years old. Contesting for a governor of his state. So does that mean that we don't have brilliant, youthful, and vibrant Nigerians who can actually fill in this place? I'm not saying that we have to vote the youth because they are youthful, but we have to vote people because they have bright ideas.
Yes, that is all. That is what. Because most of the youth nowadays, they're so corrupt.
Yeah.
They can't even go there because immediately they got into power, all they think of is how they can enrich themselves,
Yes.
their friends, and their families.
Yeah.
That is one way in which I think Sowore would be the right
Yeah.
one because he's exposed. And I was reading something again today, yesterday, that he has spent 17 years in the state in USA.
Yeah.
And he is still on Nigerian passport, like
Yeah.
probably using green card.
Yeah.
And that is the person
Be-
that is entitled to be the citizen of United States
Yes.
of America. But instead, he don't want
it's
that.
because of the love for his country, the love for his people. And when you look at his antecedent, right, from student unionism.
Yeah, at the age of 21.
Yes, and he said something that the media space has been disrupted.
Yeah,
it is time
that
to
was-
disrupt
yeah,
the political
that
space.
was lovely.
And I feel like that hit home.
I was like, yo, this is like, that is, I don't know how, if he made that statement intentionally, but that was the punchline of the whole,
Yes.
or the whole thing. That was just the punchline. I was like, yo, this guy really knows exactly what he was talking about.
Yes, it is.
He
You know,
knows.
like I first knew about Sahara Reporters back in 2008. That was 10 years ago when the special advisor to then governor of Osun State, Olagunsoye Oyinlola, when he came to give a speech at a conference, educational conference at Osun State Polytechnic. So he was talking about websites that have investigative journalism websites that are owned by Nigerians. Then he mentioned Sahara Reporters. I immediately noted it down. Then I went to the website. Then I started to follow them up about their investigative journalism. Now, if you look at within that time to now, they've been able to disrupt the media space. The
Big
things
time,
that the
big time.
traditional media doesn't
Dude,
want to talk
dude,
about.
Before I used to follow Vanguard on Facebook,
Yeah.
right? And I found out that what Vanguard is doing, like their online platform, is so
Yeah.
trash that
Yeah.
I can't even click it, and I just like fuck it, I just unlike them.
They basically-
the only Nigerian news outlet I'm still following right now is Sahara Reporter.
Yeah, they're the only one I follow on
On
Facebook.
Facebook, on Twitter as
On
well.
Twitter, yeah. And the thing is, I feel like a lot of Nigerian traditional media, right, even both radio, TV, and newspaper, the print media, they have not really woken up to the fact that there is a paradigm shift. Yeah, take it or leave it. Newspaper is actually going to go
They're
out
still
of
asleep.
Yes, they're still
not like-
asleep.
In
Like,
two years,
3 years,
it's
out.
going. Who is reading newspaper
Even if you
anymore?
look at the United States, right, a lot of newspapers are starting to merge, and the workforce are starting to shrink
Even magazines, a lot of them
because
going back
everybody is
into online,
yes, everybody
online
is
platform.
going online because nobody's really buying hard papers again, hard copies again. So you have to look at
Because
other ways to make
thing-
money and deliver the
thing-
news.
Yeah, one thing about hard paper is like there's no way you can print an instantaneous
Yes, and news is actually news is breaking every
minute.
compared to back in the days that
Yeah, you have to wait the second day
and
before you read.
again without the internet, like due to the transatlantic ocean whatever communication, right? So before news gets over from another place, it's maybe overnight.
Yeah.
So
You have
then
to
there was a
wait,
necessity. And also, if you look at the digital revolution back home, where people are starting to go online more now. So then definitely the number of people who want to buy newspaper gets to reduce because they can
I
actually
think only
get...
old people actually buy newspapers.
Yes.
And
that's for the fun of it.
Yeah, and the media, the print media, their problem is they're not digitalize their own
Their platform, yeah.
They're still using the old idea. You need innovative mind. People who can this is exactly what we need. Right? This is exactly how it's going on. Most of them get verified on Twitter, but that doesn't really mean you're doing anything.
Yes. The thing is, they're not putting so much energy into having a credible online presence on all platforms. Take, for example, Pulse. Okay, Pulse is trending, right?
Yeah.
It's trendy, like the youth kind of vibes to their content. But when you look at their Twitter page, the way it's being handled, I got so mad one day I had to unfollow. Because it's so bizarre, like they don't even cast headline. They just post and they just put some things that are so unrelated. I had to like complain and tweet a couple of times and no remedy was made. I just unfollowed. Like, how can you be a really young, vibrant, and trendy company that produces content that the youth can immediately relate to? And one of the platforms to actually meet a lot of Nigerian youth is Twitter.
It's Twitter.
And you're not handling business there very well. So
and that's where you're supposed to focus.
Exactly.
Because like Facebook is for old people these days. Like everybody's like
everybody is moving away from Facebook.
I'm actually still on Facebook because of family and friends.
Yep.
And because of our page. Because I have to like
constantly,
Facebook Messenger is completely out of my phone. And even my browser, I always like close the Facebook only when I need to do something, just like come back in.
So let's just, since we're talking about Sowore, let's just over the week, President Buhari announced his ambition to run for a second term in office as the president of Nigeria in 2019.
2019 is coming.
Yes, sir.
It's coming.
So what do you think?
Dude, like, I don't know if this will be considered as a hate speech. But I think that man should I don't know, like, I have this sentiment, right? I feel like all Nigerian politicians are so corrupt, I don't even want to talk about them. That is one of the reasons I don't take politics serious. I'm like, most of the time when we discuss politics on this platform, I feel like I'm behind a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep up with that. It's like, it's too shitty for me. And you as an old man, we don't even know your real age. Some people say you're 72, some people say you're fucking 81. You're not in a perfect health condition.
It's not even about 70, 80, or 60. The man doesn't look healthy.
He's not healthy.
He's actually
I think it's the cabans that are behind all this. The same thing they did to Yaradua.
He even look like, if you look at his demeanor, his mannerisms, the way, like, he looks dyslexic in the sense that he has ability speaking and even reading. He's weak. And what's the point of really stressing yourself trying to, like, okay, now, so I was speaking with a person recently and the person I was speaking with is a PDP member. So which automatically means that he shouldn't say something good about Buhari. But he said from his own perspective, he thinks Buhari is a good man, that he has good intentions.
But the people surrounding him,
the thing is that he is ignorant of a lot of things. So he only depends on advice.
Yes. Sorry to cut you off. You know why I know? I just confirmed that this man is ignorant about a lot of things. It's about the military man that he ordered to go to a particular state, and he went to another state. And
Yeah.
this man do nothing about it. He just
Yes.
come. You have, as a president, someone disobeyed your order. And you came on camera and say, yeah, I sent him to this and he went to this.
So just to continue on what I was
no
saying
action.
was that the man said, and one reason I think is ignorant is that one way to cure ignorance or to actually become more knowledgeable is for you to read, to read books about things you do not know, and even things you know. And one of his biggest supporter back in 2015, 2014 is Dr. Junaid Mohammed. And he said he gave Buhari a book to read during the electionary period. And Buhari never opened that book till he became the president. He never opened the book. And now here it is. So the person was telling me that he believes Buhari is a good man, he has good intentions for Nigeria, but he's ignorant. And when a person is ignorant and is in seat of power, right, you have to depend on your advisors.
Advisor, yes.
So he feels like a lot of the time, the advice he's getting from people is just that they just come to him with advice. He asks them, do you think this is good? And once they tell him that thing is good,
And you give
whatever
a
it
little
is
bit
they
reason.
advise him, he feels like, okay, these people are professionals in this field. So they go out, he just goes ahead with it. Now, look at the
wait.
economic policy.
Professional, politically, or a rated
Okay,
professional?
now, Emefiele, right? He's an economist.
Okay.
He's the CBN governor.
Okay.
If you look at
What about the
Ibe
person in charge of
Kachichukwu,
information, whatever?
Ibe Kachichukwu he's Harvard. He's a Harvard graduate.
Okay. I'm
And-
asking, what about the person in charge of
No,
information?
let's actually
and
talk about the things
ICT?
that actually that doesn't really have so much effect on Nigerians as to the areas I'm talking about. Okay, economy, right, has a Harvard graduate who everybody feels is capable. Talk about finance. It has someone everyone thinks is capable. Then we talk about power, steel, and works. It's Fashola, who everybody thinks actually did a good job with Lagos State for 8 years. So he's the right man for the job to understand all of that. And if you look at it, basically, Nigerians want economic progress. We want to have good roads. We want to have good infrastructures, right? The people in charge of these ministries are people that we might all agree that they are professionals and they are intelligent. And whatever they tell him, he's most likely going to accept it, right?
Yeah.
But now, what do you actually have at play? Everywhere is just in a total disarray. Everybody, just like you said, right? It's more like a cabal. It's a political cabal in the sense that it's a coalition of snakes, cats, dogs, everybody in
Everybody,
2015 to wrestle power from Jonathan. Finally, they've been able to wrestle power. Now they are wrestling themselves. Okay, look at Oyegun versus Tinubu.
Yeah.
That's a power play on its own. Then the North has its own power play. Then Bukola Saraki has his own power play.
yeah.
Atiku has his own power play. So now
Instead
everybody
instead
forms.
of them to like combine this,
They don't have
idea
the
to
interest of the
improve.
masses at heart. It's just one of the conversations I was having last night that the rich wants to get rich because that's their way of surviving. And for them to get rich, they have to align with themselves with whatever government is in power. And whatever government is in power, they want to get richer. And most people invested in Buhari.
Yeah,
Because
a lot.
Buhari is basically poor. He doesn't have money.
That's what they said.
Yes, even if he had
That's what
money.
he said.
Even if he had money, there was no way he could have wrestled power against PDP. He didn't have their money.
Yeah, that is right. That is fact.
The money that Dasuki and Desani and the rest
Yeah.
spent, he didn't
That's
have it.
fact.
So the only way he could be able to meet up was maybe have Atiku invest, have Tinubu invest in that, and then you could actually get donors like Otedola, Dangote, because those guys will invest in all positions. They will invest because there's no way you put your head in one basket.
Yeah,
As a,
yeah,
it's
they
basic
invest in
businessman.
PDP,
So
APC,
they will
yeah.
invest in every opposition. So whoever comes, you
Yeah,
can't blame
that's-
them that
yeah,
they didn't invest in you. So it favors them economically. So all of these people that put money into the campaign, they have to make their money back.
Yeah.
How do they have to make this money back? They put their stooge in government. That's why, okay, it's almost 3 years or even more than 3 years.
Lobbyists.
What have Fashola achieved?
Nothing.
And why do you think
Amici,
nothing?
nothing.
But who are these guys loyal to?
APC.
not APC,
I mean,
Tinubu.
Tinubu, yeah.
And what was Tinubu's contribution? Money, and making sure he gets the Southwest vote, and making sure Buhari gets there.
Get the vote, yeah.
So basically,
So I was reading something today. I don't know if it was a reporter who posted it.
Yeah.
This Vera Douglas, Vera something. You shared that video. Said they increased the Amechi increased the train fee because he said his excuse was rich people are using the train more than the poor people, so they have to increase the fee.
which rich people actually use trains in Nigeria?
Dude, I was like, yo, man,
It-
dude,
it
they're
feels
really
like-
stupid.
You know, sometimes when we look at Nigeria, right, and I look at the kind of youth we have in government
No, man.
or around government, it's it's
crazy.
actually a replica of what our society and our educational system is,
Yeah.
because it's broken. We don't really have people who have morals and who can actually make good decisions. If these guys are not even the best the country have to offer. I have that belief that these guys are not the best
Are
we
you
have to
serious?
offer.
Why would you? It's not. They're not even like in like out of 10. They're like 4.5.
They are not the best we got to offer. And just like I feel like one of the things with Showore's campaign that I like is the slogan, "Take Nigeria back,"
Yeah.
because we need to take it back from the
Man,
elites.
I just wish our youth can just wake up and just rally behind Sowore and
Yeah.
see what. Because like one thing is like I think our youth they're just after money. They're so
Yeah.
much in need of money and they can do anything for money, right? And there's no and I checked the crowdfund of
Sowore,
still
yeah.
below $12,000 for how many
Yeah.
days? People are donating. They're donating like $55.
Yeah,
Like,
the thing
nah.
is, I'm not necessarily saying that we have to have Showore there. As,
Exactly. I
as
know,
the
but
guy.
you can just cause
But the
the.
thing is, I feel like we need to take Nigeria back from the elite.
You know what I want. Even though he's not going to win, or even though we're not going to have a youth, a younger presidency this 2019, I want the whoever wins, right? I want them to know the youth have the right, and they've finally woke up. They've stood up just to let you know we can take this back anytime we want. At least if the youth mobilized, right,
Yep.
and they vote for whoever they want to vote for, right, and they make their vote count, and the maybe the old people knows like yo, those people are coming with force.
I feel like one of the problems basically is that do votes even count in Nigeria?
Exactly. No vote. Anybody, dude. There's nothing like vote. I know that is one of my major concerns. Like, there's no way this guy is going to win this
And
election
the way
because nobody vote, and people who vote, they don't even
And
count
also
them.
the way Nigerians is skewed, right? The way the population of Nigeria is so skewed is that you don't even need the South to win elections in Nigeria. Do you know that?
Only the North will win the election. For
Okay,
you.
here's a little bit of historic background to it. In 1999, when we just transitioned to democracy, the South supported Olufalai of AD. Because if you remember, right, AD basically captured the whole of Southwest.
Yeah.
So Obasanjo did not get enough vote, and did not win any of the states in Southwest. But how did he get in? The North.
They not. Yeah. They not.
Because he was supported by the North.
And one thing about the North, vote can be manipulated easily there.
Yes.
Very, very easy.
So-
There can be people from Niger, from Chad, and from
And even within
12 years old child
even
vote.
this Buhari government, the vote, the election was basically won in the North.
In the North, yeah.
And the moment the votes in Kano started to come out, we were all like in.
And that is the
We
reason.
were all screaming.
Trust me, the only reason Buhari has the confidence.
That's
to come
why
down
he's
is
really
because of the
confident
North. It's
that
because
okay,
of the North.
they can do whatever they want as
I
long
got
as
the North
I can
and
get
vote.
my people to support me.
That is
then
all.
I have it.
That's all you need. That is all. That's all.
So it's really painful that this, like Nigerians felt that he was he is a man of integrity, right?
Which
That,
integrity?
but
Like, from
he
where
has
is
not
it coming
shown any
from?
of that. He's basically
it
not
coming
shown any
from?
of that so far. And now let's just basically move away from that, because if we keep talking about Buhari and APC, we'll just spend the
It's gonna
whole
take
night.
forever.
Because we,
It's gonna
we
take
got we
forever.
got sold a really bogus change that we felt like was what we needed, but the change we're having is not the change we expected. So it's time to move on. It's time to take the country back. Now we want to take the country back, but we also have to take it back from lecturers.
Yes.
During
I
the
think
week,
that should be the first step.
yeah. So
That should
during
be
the week,
taking the
uh, I think we all heard, or a lot of people heard about the audio recording
yeah.
of a conversation between a university student and a university lecturer from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, where the conversation, though from that conversation I can say that there's been a prior conversation
Yeah,
before
there's
that.
been an agreement.
Yeah, I can't actually state the context of that previous conversation, but then I know this conversation was recorded, and in it you can know that there's been a proper conversation before
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
So what was recorded in this new conversation is that a student failed, and the lecturer was demanding for sex as a way to pass the student.
Pass the student.
And he demanded for 5 different, not even round of sex, 5 different times. You know?
Man.
So-
man.
And ironically, this person is a reverend
And he's married.
and he's married. And guess what? A lot of people have been coming up with stories of their encounter with
No,
him.
this has been going on forever in Nigerian university.
I just read this evening, like a couple of hours ago, that someone from Ireland, like the Republic of Ireland, said she was a student of this man 20 years ago,
A goal.
and he
20 years
demanded
ago.
for sex from Max. So
20 years ago.
So she and her friends decided to start to pray. So they started to pray against it, which is basically what Nigerians do. When they can't fight you, they contact the higher power to fight you. So they started to pray, and then he changed his mind that he was just trying to test them, that it's okay. So now, the reason why, I don't think Nigerians are actually shocked.
No,
We are
come
only
on, this has-
expressing our
yeah.
outrage.
It's because of Twitter, and people have
Yes.
the smartphone to really record and to make things go viral.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
don't
only
think
thing.
we
This
are
has been going on
outraged,
forever.
because this is something that basically, if you've been through the tertiary institution of Nigeria, right, you will know one person who has been sexually harassed for
Harassed
Max
or abused.
or abused by lecturers. If you don't know, you know someone that knows someone. And it is prevalent. It's everywhere, except maybe private universities, because it's much more serious there, that they could easily get
true,
fired.
yeah,
There is not that hierarchy of I'm untouchable compared to public universities or polytechnics or colleges of education. So I feel that's a problem. So I just want to know your thoughts on that.
My thought is, it's gonna be two-way. I'm gonna go both way. First of all, before I talk about the lady, I don't condone anything that happened that the lecturer said. That was totally stupid, and the thing. I think one of the reasons most of the Nigerian lecturer has this mind to even try this, because there has been a lot of issue about this, but they never get penalized. They never
Yeah.
get sacked or wherever. They could just the school's authority try to oppress the student. Like, you cannot
Yeah.
go public, or you want to lose wherever. So that is one thing, and you demanding for sex just to increase the score of a student or to pass the student. That is totally like
It's even funny, like, you want to increase the mark from F to E, not even to B or A.
and you demand it 5 times. You're going to
Not
have,
even 5 rounds.
yeah, you're gonna have sex with her 5
Different
times, and that 5 different times, but in a way, I forget this proverb. I've been use one proverb before, right? But in a way, I will blame the girl.
Okay.
Because if you study hard enough, right, you will not be in this situation. I know there are some lecturers that go even above everything to intentionally fail students they feel like they want to have something to do with. I know a lot of lecturers will do that. They will intentionally fail the student so that they will have the opportunity
Yeah.
to demand for the sex.
Yeah.
But if that is not the case, how on earth they send you come school, right?
Yeah.
And you not even 40, you are below, there is 34.
Yeah.
Because the lecturer said there was another girl, she
Yeah,
scored
32,
39,
33,
39,
yeah,
39,
whatever.
39,
Yeah,
but
30.
yours is 33 or 34.
Yeah.
It's like, that is that is below average, like far below average. What on earth are you doing? Probably you're out there doing wrongs.
There are things people can fail. Like it
I know
doesn't mean
peop-
that
I know-
people
I know
fail.
people can fail, but not if you fail. Fuck it, take the class again.
Yeah, but
That will
but
give you opportunity to learn.
the thing is this. The thing
I
is this,
failed
like,
before. I failed my math, F, big one, because I don't go for. After many time I stopped going because I don't like math. After many time I stopped going to class and I don't want to drop the class, and I failed. It's big F. I have to retake it again.
Here's
and when I
my-
retook it, it was like B.
here's my opinion on that. As someone who's been through that system in Nigeria, I know for a fact that one, lecturers intentionally fail
I
students.
know that.
Male
that is
or
fact.
female.
That is fact. Yeah,
That's
fact.
that's a fact.
Yeah.
And two, either fail or not, even sometimes even before the exam, the lecturers tell you that there's no way you're
You can
getting
pass,
through this
yeah.
class without me getting through you.
That's intentional wickedness.
So,
that is
so
straight
there's
wickedness.
that even before you write your exam. So anything might have been may have played out in all of that, even before this she gets
thing, yeah.
this whole mark of 32, 33 or whatnot. But the issue is this: just that one, that lecturer is not the first time, because there are people who've come out to say like, oh, he's been doing it for
Tony,
a while.
trust me. I can say 60% of Nigerian lecturers are like that.
Yeah,
60%.
a lot.
60.
Especially for like when I look at where I studied, the Department of Mass Communication, Osun State Polytechnic, the only lecturer in all of that department that was not involved in anything like sex
Scandal.
or scandal or math scandal or any of that is Alpha Tokpe Oyekomi. And that's because he's an Alpha Oblique. He's very strict. If you fail, you don't even have the infantry to go meet him and be like, you want to
yeah.
have any conversation. Even conversation about, oh, why did I fail, or what can I do? You will not have that confidence, that impetus to go meet him. But every other person, I will name them, Isamoko, M.A. Lawa, Arowo Shegbe, Akinro Soye, Tokpe Abiola, all these guys, Philip Ewola, they all sexually abused female students. And not just that,
It's terrible, man.
the
That's
male
fucking
students,
terrible.
they all threatened them that you will fail. And there are some that they be like, there is no way you are getting through this university or this polytechnic.
Can you
That
imagine?
will make sure
Can
you fail
imagine
every year.
that?
And there are some that you have to go through proxy to pay money for you to actually pass. That's how bad it is.
Come on, man.
And it's not just Osun State Polytechnic alone.
That happens
It's the
across
same.
all Nigerian schools.
The thing is, we need to protect our female students. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm not in support or holding brief for how she got 32 or 33. And it's easy, right? In abroad where we are, it's easy to actually start to request for a grade recheck,
Yeah.
where
You
your
can-
script
yeah.
is brought. The lecturer explains the grading criteria and how he or she graded
Great.
each of your response to the questions. Then you can request for the script of other people that you feel had similar abilities like
yeah.
you, that shouldn't have passed the class just like you failed too. And their scripts will be brought and it will all be compared. But do you actually think they do that in Nigeria?
Come on,
And,
man.
it's a system that's in place. But with the paperwork and the bureaucracies that it has to go through,
No,
it may
they
not
will
even be
able-
done in 2 years.
Yeah.
It may not even be done in 2 years. And the only person I knew that did that successfully was a comrade back then who was called Deco. He's a student union leader, and he's from the Department of Communication. And the thing is, he advised students not even to do it. Because you know why? He said, if you don't have the backbone, don't do it.
Don't do it.
He had the backbone because he had a brother that worked at Ganifa Wemi chamber in Lagos,
Oh, okay.
who was able to carry the case, to put the case, to push it towards the Osun State Court, Osun State Court of Appeal. There's a court of appeal there's a court he actually went to. That when that case got out of school to the court, the school's lawyer had to call for a resolution to it. So now he took it way higher than they expected. Now they felt like, okay, the best way for us to do is
It's
take it
just-
back.
Yeah.
For there to be a board sitting on it. And somehow they just be like, okay, let's let him go because the wahala, they cannot take it.
They can't stand it. Yeah.
Because they knew that, okay, this guy is riding on the high horse, that he can really match us with aggressiveness of the court. And they know they basically stand no choice, a chance. Because then you have to bring the papers of all the students.
All the students,
And
and
then
have to compare,
and everything. And the thing is, he didn't mind because he was done with school. And it was only that cause that was holding him back.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he felt like, I have all the time to do it. So it's not like he still have one extra year where he'll now have to deal with
where he'll
other
be
lecturers.
punished.
Where you'll be punished. So basically, he has only just that to escape. So he had all the time and he had all the positivity and everything to go through it. So, and the school basically don't want to waste money on attorneys like lawyers because basically you have to pay lawyers
Yeah.
going to the court and coming back, filing cases and all that. So they felt, okay, the best way to do it is just to, okay,
Yeah,
call
just
the
let- just
lecturer
let him
back.
go,
Let's just let him go. That was how Deco was able to go. And he advised people like, if you know you don't have a strong backbone,
Don't try.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
So how many people can really do that?
No. You won't even have the courage.
Yeah.
Only if your dad is the president, and they won't even fail you when you know you are your level is that high. Yeah.
Higher. It's just back to what we were saying that Nigerians, when they're in a place of power, right? Okay, during my time at Osun State Polytechnic, lecturers, they basically threaten you. You are intimidated by their presence.
Yeah.
There is basically no friendship. There is no mentorship between lecturers at Osun State Polytechnic and students. There is basically that feeling of enmity.
And why?
Yeah, you see
and why here sometimes your lecturer will invite you
Yes,
to go have some drink.
have buffet, go
Yeah.
have drinks, have food, and know what's your plans for the weekend. But you don't have that relationship with lecturers in Nigeria.
They
You-
feel like
because
you're not
you know
even
what
that-
they
we're
tell
not-
you,
we're not
they,
even on
they
the same
basically
level.
they basically threaten you and tell you like, there's no way you're going through.
Can you imagine? That is intentional wickedness. How
Yes.
do you do that?
And it's not like your salary depends on that one person.
Come on, man.
So there's just that wickedness. There's that they turn themselves to a demigod where they want to be worshipped. You basically want to pass through a university or a polytechnic in Nigeria, you have to be ready to worship your lecturers as if they are your God.
Dear God.
Because they've just been able to find themselves in that position where they're supposed to train the next generation of leaders.
Because they don't want anybody to even have the educational opportunity to be in that position.
Yes.
You know, they don't want, because they see you as a rivalry.
Yeah.
So if they weigh you intellectually, they know this one might be the threat to this.
They
So
just
they'll always do everything to just weigh you down.
They basically tell you like, you will not make it out of here. Don't even
Straight
think
like
about
that.
it.
Just like that.
They will tell you will not make it out. Sometimes some people are lucky in the sense that if they get trained, maybe they have an uncle or they know someone within the university that now has to go beg in their.
Beg.
Okay, a girl was talking on Twitter that she basically lives in Unilag. Her father is a professor at Unilag. And she also got sexually harassed by a lecturer.
Can you imagine that?
So now tell me, who is actually immune to this? The daughter of his professor in the same Unilag is getting sexually harassed by another professor. So now who is immune to all of this? If you basically don't feel safety in the place where your father works.
That's terrible. That is bad.
It's that bad. Now, this is the same place, this is the same institution that should train the next set of Nigerian leaders or the next set of right-thinking members of the society. And you take them through this emotional trauma and torture just because they want to get a certificate that says that they are literate.
Man.
So now, and we want to take pride in the fact that we say we are a moral society. We are not a moral society.
At all.
There is a lot of moral decadence.
At all.
It's only sanctimonious for us to say, oh, we are a morally upright society.
No.
Because these same people,
They go to church. They go to church every Sunday. They go to church every Sunday.
This man is a reverend. He's
you imagine?
in the church.
Can you
He's
imagine?
in charge of fellowship and leadership of a fellowship, of Christian fellowship.
And he was so goated. It was like, yo, I have sex with my wife every day. And the girl was like, Professor Nalai, you cannot do that now. How? And because they were talking about the girl, a boyfriend.
Menstruation and all that.
I was like, yo, man.
Okay, look at Olu Areo Shegbe, who's a barrister that I know who taught mass comm law and everything. He's a pastor. He belongs to a church where he's one of the hierarchy of the leaders. And the kind of things he was doing with female students during my time at Osun State Polytechnic. Then how do you actually reconcile these two realities of being a pastor or a religious leader?
Most of the pastor in the church, they do this to the choir members.
Yeah. So I don't even, I'm just out of the realization whereby I don't feel we're a morally upright society.
We're not.
Because you are religious doesn't mean you're morally inclined. So there's basically two differences. And as Nigerians, we are mixing that up that, okay, because you go to church or you believe in higher power, then you have morals. We basically don't have morals.
At all. We don't.
So I just don't understand, because now we want a better society, but the people who are supposed to help us have a better society are the ones
destroying our reality. So
we are even talking about the female students. How about the male students? The kind of things the male students go through. Okay,
as well,
if you're a student and you manage to have your girlfriend in the same school, lecturers basically threaten you that if you don't leave that girl for me, you go fail.
Can you imagine? And this lecturer, you don't get wife for household.
Yeah, so if you not bring money, you go fail. And guess what? This was something that was also happening during my time. Our exam script, is actually not marked by the lecturers.
Oh.
Yes. It's not even okay, we'll say, okay, it's easy to mark scripts that maybe short answers, or let's just say objective questions, A, B, or C, right?
Multiple choice.
Yeah, multiple choice questions. Anybody can mark those kind of scripts. But short answers where people have to explain, or even long answers that is detailed. If you're not the lecturer, how does a person know the context of what the lecturer actually said in class and how the students view it? Our exam scripts were being marked by secondary school students.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And students...
Not even university students.
Yes. And students from other departments that are not even mass communication students.
Holy fuck.
That's one of the problems. So people basically score lower because people who are marking your script don't have your reality. They don't know the context of your answers to each of the questions. So they just basically mark based on their emotions or how they like your handwriting or what they think about your English or anything. So oftentimes people fail. And guess what? Also, because people who mark this script are not the lecturers, right?
Yeah.
Words go out. You know, people who are excited that they're marking scripts of students, right? Yeah. Words start to spread that, I know a guy who's marking the script of this class. So there are students who stay back after exams in school to listen to rumors of where their script is being marked. So then
they go there.
They'll pay a little fee to change the answers or to get a better grade. So there are times that the lecturers then finally hear that people are getting paid. Those who are marking the script are getting paid. Then he starts to maybe cut the marks of everybody.
Oh, shit.
And that's one of the things that happened in my English for Mass Communication class. It was a class of about 220 students. And over 90 students failed. No. We had mission script. I was one of the person. How is it my responsibility to keep my script after I submitted to you? I finished writing an exam.
And I gave it
We gave you the papers. We signed where we needed to sign that we took the exam. Then, when it was time for the result to come out, because it has to come out the next semester, you don't have your results until 3 months. Now, here it is. Out of 220 students, you had 90 students that their scripts got missing. And there are some that failed. So now, how is it the responsibility of students to keep their script that has been submitted to you? So it means that we had to retake that class. We basically scored nothing in that class. And it affected our GPA because the credit has to be divided.
Yeah.
Now we have to buy new handout for the same class.
New handout?
Yes.
Why can't you use the old one?
No, because they make money from selling of handouts. So you have to buy new handouts.
So I have to buy one book twice?
Yes. Because if not, you're not passing. And also you have to go retake the class again. And you have to add that new class to your next schedule for the next semester, which increases the number of classes you have to take. Yeah. And why is it this case? Because the lecturer heard words that students who are marking the scripts were getting paid. So he just went in annoyance to take back the scripts.
Yeah.
So I felt like maybe those ones that has been marked already, he just said, okay, I'll declare it as
pass.
No, I'll declare them as missing scripts. So those were the ones that probably have been affected by the manipulations. That was how 90 of us failed out of 220. And that was one class
crazy,
that I prepared so much for that I believed I would have had my best score for the semester. And the thing is this, let's even assume that we all failed. In a class of 220, when 45% of that class is failing, you're not doing your job as a lecturer.
At all.
Morally, you should look back and be like, I think I failed my kids, my students.
There's no remorse in anything. They don't feel any remorse.
If 5% or 10% of the class is failing, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But in Nigeria,
not like 45%.
If half of the class do not fail, you're not a good lecturer. Half of the class have to fail.
They don't feel accomplished.
Yes.
That means you're not teaching them right.
They basically say, if half of you will not pass this class, it's part of the threat I'm talking about, because then that's when
fucking crazy mentality has to change.
That's their own way of teaching, telling you that, okay, this class is hard.
So there's nothing. If you're teaching the student right, there's nothing hard about class.
Being a Nigerian is
I love it.
You're getting fucked. Either way.
I was so lucky. I don't even waste my time that I want to go to. I don't, dude. NIT was my first initial best choice, and I was so happy I made a choice.
I don't really want to talk about my experience at Osun State Polytechnic, because it was really that bad. And imagine students who went back there for their HND, who were part of the system. So 90 students are failing out of about 220, and okay. When we had to retake the exam, the other lecturers who saw us, and they asked, did all of you fail? We explained the circumstances. They were shocked, because they were like, how can all these students fail a class?
It's crazy. Even
though they were expressing their shock, but they could have been able to do something about it.
But the problem, if you know those students, their script are missing, right? Why would you, in the grading system, it has to be withdrawn.
Yes. Even if their script is missing, right? In a sane climb, in a person that is right thinking will think like, oh, this is negligence on my part.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like F.
Because
that's not F.
I failed at my job of safeguarding this script. And you could get fired for it. It's just, okay, even I've heard one of these universities around that a student requested for his script back. and the lecturer could not provide it, and he got fired for it. Because it's either two things. You either give the student the highest mark available,
Yes.
or you lose your job because you failed at your job.
Yeah.
Now, the script of 90 students got missing, according to you. Is that not enough reason for the university to actually summon or fire that lecturer?
Some fire straight.
So that's why I say lecturers in Nigeria are demigods.
They feel so invisible.
They are just as worse as our politicians.
They feel so invisible. Yeah, that is what the thing is, because the school authority, they're not even doing anything. You've seen many instances, many cases whereby lecturers, students will be like, this lecturer is doing this. I even have, like, few years ago, there was one on camera where the lecturer went to the student house room to have sex. And up to now, we don't even know what happens to the lecturer.
It just gets swept under the rug. Then the students get victimized. At the end of the day, it's the student who loses.
Who loses?
When you look at the bigger picture. And this thing we're talking about,
crazy,
I know other universities
crazy.
where it's happening too. Like, if you look at Ambrose Hale University in Ekpoma, it's very prevalent. You look at Auchi Polytechnic, Edo State, it is the same thing. These are places where I also know that I know my friends are there, that I've been to, that I know there's this shared experience. And most Nigerian university students or polytechnic students and college education students can relate with these stories. And I'm actually saying mine. There are people who have much more horror stories to share.
A lot. People got restricted just...
Even for being a student union member.
Or just like to challenge the lecturer.
Yes, because you're challenging the authority. Yeah. And the thing is, we should have... That's why I feel like one of the problems with Nigeria is that we have very weak institutions. Like, I don't mean like education. I mean our institutions of maybe the different institutions of legislature, then the executive and the judiciary. In the sense that, okay, now, if we have students who are challenging lecturers and they are getting victimized, the National University Commission has to be able to do something about it. The National Human Rights Commission has to be able to do something about it. But nobody does anything about it. That's why I say we have weak institutions, because these are institutions that people should run to. Okay, in Nigeria, if you miss your flight, or the flight time of your flight got changed, right?
Yeah.
And you are unaware of the new flight time.
Yeah.
And you miss that flight.
You're
not getting any refund or anything.
You're gonna buy a new ticket.
You buy a new ticket. The Consumer Protection Commission or body of that country should be able to fight for you. But basically, nothing is done. Or even when a flight is moved maybe 3 hours upward, there are different scenarios in sinner climbs that maybe you refund the customer, you provide snacks for them if they decide to wait, or you reschedule their flight on another plane that is going out immediately.
Good.
But in Nigeria, this is not done. And the Consumer Protection Commission does not protect the consumers from these things. That's why I say we don't have strong institutions. Our institutions are weak. These are institutions that are put in place to protect the consumers. They are there, but they basically don't do anything. They are just there. They are weak. Because if you even go to the offices, it's maybe dust everywhere. It's maybe typewriters they are using. They don't have internet. There's
Even
no internet literacy.
When they have computer, they don't even own it.
So that's why I say the institutions are weak. Okay, now you look at maybe South Africa. The president got ousted because of corruption. The same thing with the former president of South Korea. She's going to jail for 25 years. Then you go to Brazil. He's going to jail for 11 years. Yeah. How many former Nigerian president has been sent to jail? We'll talk about that next week. When you give me an answer, we'll talk about that next week.
Go to jail. But I don't know which days here. I don't know. Maybe we're talking about that, and you said they have to ask for something. They sign some agreement that after their tenure, they cannot be persecuted anymore.
Yeah. These other countries from we had that happened in Gambia. I think it happened in Zimbabwe. Yeah, it's usually done by most of these despotic leaders. So when they lose an election, or their way of getting out of power after so many years is that they try to negotiate their way out.
Don't you think our Nigerian president are doing the same thing?
They basically do that.
Yeah.
Because there are people who were justifying that because Jonathan considered the election, right?
Yeah, so
that
he shouldn't be
let
punished.
go.
Yeah.
That
So I think they're doing the same thing.
so
I think they do the
it's
same
because
thing.
we have weaker institutions. Our institution is basically weak. Okay, now
And if okay, let's take for instance like during Obasanjo, right? When he
Yeah.
was going out, he brought Yaradua
yeah,
because he know he can never come for him.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So if it was like Jonathan's second term, right?
Yeah.
And he will actually bring something,
you
somebody
would have
else.
brought enough in
Yeah.
that
Yeah, that
would be
will
loyal
also,
to
yeah,
him.
loyal to him. So that is exactly what Nigerians have been doing for years.
Okay, with the things that's happening with the students on campus, we should have the Senate body of that university or that polytechnic protect students. But it doesn't happen. That's why I said we have
Those
weaker
are the evil
institutions.
people who are using like most of the student talk to
Yeah.
con some girls, some student,
Yeah.
for some lady student to
The
their
thing is,
office.
as a Nigerian student, you are immediately exposed to danger
A lot.
in the sense that first, you're worrying about cult members. When
One
you're
of the
able-
reasons I choose
yeah,
not to even
when,
go to
when you're able to even
our,
escape
our,
that,
our university
then you are worrying about not being threatened by lecturers.
by lecturers.
So when
That's a
you're
lot.
done worrying about that, there are so many things to worry about. And when you worry less about that, you are finally a graduate. You go to the NYSC camp. You start to worry about army cadets
Yeah.
that are in the camp.
Punishment.
Yes, that dehumanizes you, a graduate.
man.
And you're interacting with people who basically have maybe senior certificate, who
Of
just
primary school.
yes, who have not been to any institution, and now they start to tell you to kneel down, to frog jump.
Yeah, because
to
they
do
have
all
the
sort of-
power. They're in charge at that
there's-
moment.
there's just that pedestal you have to keep moving up to. That it doesn't basically develop you as a person, but it dehumanizes you. It puts you at so much fear of your society.
And then when you get to a place of power, you want to revenge.
Yes. You see, a lot of people who go in the military, I know a couple of people in the military, that the reason they torture Nigerians on the street is because
Because
they want
of what
they
I've
want to
been through.
revenge for the
Yeah.
trainings they went through in camp.
Yeah.
They'll tell you, oh, I suffered this in this camp, in
But the
this
point
place.
is, you choose to.
That, exactly.
It's your choice.
And the people there, they're not even really seeing being in the military as a service to their nation. For some, it's just a way to make a living.
Yeah.
For some, it's a way for them to bully people,
Yeah.
to feel empowered. For some, it's a way for them to get free ride in life.
Yeah.
Like, you see our military people, they
go down
take a
for all the
public
time,
they
they don't
take
pay
a public
anything.
transport, they
They
don't
don't
pay
pay anything.
They get to an ATM, they break the queue.
Yeah.
And if
They
you
can
actually
easily do
challenge
anything.
them,
They
yeah,
don't, like,
exactly.
there's no
So
point.
for them,
They do
it's-
whatever they want.
It's a way of empowering themselves.
The other thing, like, if care is not taken very soon, Nigerian military, they will just go into a fucking fast food joint and eat free food. They eat free food for mama put. Most of the mama put canteen, they
Yeah.
just walk there, eat, madam, 2 chicken, 1 plate of rice. Eat
And exactly
go.
for them, right? It's also like these whole small business owners. For them, it's a way of protecting themselves.
Yeah.
Because they just feel like, okay, if this officer comes here and eat
Yeah.
for free, then
Yeah.
I feel protected. Or if something is going to happen, maybe in future, and he's walking by or he's around,
Yeah, he will
to
help.
protect me.
Yeah.
So we really have a unique way of doing things that, because it's unique, does not make it special or make it good. It is negatively unique, and it
We're
affects
we're
our
so far-
psyche
we're so
as,
far
as,
behind,
as
man. We're
humans.
so
So
far
I
behind.
don't know. It's
We are
depressing.
so far behind.
So the good thing is we're ending on the depressing note, but we started on a more enthusiastic note.
Tell me which episode is not depressing.